Okay, remember I was talking about moon goddesses and chthonic deities, chthonic as in under the earth? Well, in the later sources and as time progresses, we move out of this sort of early classical Greek period. We see that in Roman periods, they're using similar methodologies and deities as the Greeks. However, they make a much bigger push towards sort of chthonic deities. Now, chthonic deities are gods of the earth. They are considered Auronic, Ouranic, or Olympic. They're of the sky. Their abode is Mount Olympus. So at the same time, in love magic, we see a complete decline in the worship of Aphrodite for doing Eros magic. Like I said, moon deities come up. So Selene and Hecate become dominant, and they combine and are used often together in Eros spells, though we do see some conditions where Aphrodite is still used for Philia spells. Now, Hecate is known for overseeing the restless dead. And there's even a name of her that we see in one Agoge pharmacon or incantation called Hecate Catonia, meaning that is the chthonic Hecate, her most frightening incarnation. So Agoge spells that once were kind of done all over, in the Roman era, they're almost always done in graveyards, and they've evolved out of those Greek binding katodesmoi spells of the curse tablets that were, you may remember, often deposited in graveyards, and the tablets were often put in graves. Now, here, binding spells, these katodesmoi, start to do the same sort of stuff that Agoge spells were doing. They have that burning imagery of let her burn so much until she comes forth to me. So what we're seeing is a shift in magic from the Greek context to a Roman context in which these are underworld gods. They are doing cursing type ritual technologies, but they're doing the ends of Agoge. And you'll remember that Farone argues that Agoge rituals, all of these erotic rituals, all come out originally from the ancient Greek cursing traditions. So what I find really interesting here is that, and I want to read over one specific example, is that suddenly we see these ambivalent, even diabolical and foreign gods, not normally Athenian Greek gods, that sort of pour in to these erotic magic. Now, in the type of religion I'm very comfortable with and know quite a lot about is Hindu Tantra. In Hindu Tantra, in the same way, you see this shift in the medieval era of India where suddenly the gods get wrathful, they get scary. They pull up wild gods from villages that weren't usually seen in the Sanskritic literature before. And you start seeing gods that are creepier and scarier transported from different parts of India to be worshipped. Also, you see that sites of ritual performance move to be really often done in cremation grounds. Okay, so here's an example from Farone. This is an Agoge spell, and the first and third sections, which he doesn't list, actually have a whole bunch of foreign goddesses, including Persephone Boaba, or Buabo, who's from Persia, or Persephone from Greece, and then Boabo from Persia, Artemis from Lydia, Ershkiga from Assyria, and a bunch of other gods that they haven't tracked out at all, but they've got a list of suddenly, whereas you would just see Aphrodite, now you have just this wide range of deities, which is kind of crazy. All right, so let's look at how Hecate is invoked. So remember, we've got a stanza before this that isn't in the book that describes all sorts of unknown and foreign gods. Hither, Hecate, goddess of the crossroads, with your fire-breathing ghosts, you, i.e. the ghosts, who have got us as your allotment, horrible ambushes and irksome haunts. Scary. I call you, Hecate, with those ghosts who have died before their time, and with those of the heroes who, hissing wildly, holding anger in their hearts, have died without wife and children. So, the ghosts of the restless dead, people who have had bad deaths. You, i.e. the ghosts, you ghosts stand above her head of Hecate and joined with the blah, 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 blah. What did I say? You stand above her head and take sweet sleep from her against his victim. May her eyelids never be closely joined with each other, but rather let her be worn out over her wakeful thoughts about me. And if she is lying down with another man in her embrace, let her push that man away and let her put me down into her heart, and let her immediately forsake him and quickly come stand near my doors, subdued in her soul for my wedding bed. Then there's a section in 3 that has a whole bunch more of these, kind of wacky goddesses that you don't usually see. But notice, invoking Hecate, not Aphrodite in this later spell. Hither, Hecate of the fiery will, I call you to my incantations. May she come to my doors driven mad, immediately forgetting the intimacy of her children and parents, and hating the entire race of men and women, except this race, except this of mine. Mr. So-and-so, I'm Mr. So-and-so. And may she come and stand near, holding me alone, subdued in her heart by the strong necessity of love. So here's the interpretation. You have a really international style of Greek erotic incantations in the Hellenistic period, that later period. And they're all having all of these different foreign goddesses connected to Hecate, this goddess of witchcraft. But in the actual spell here, like the last part where it's actually the incantation, you'll notice that there is no real solid Hecate there. What you actually see is it's a traditional Agoge spell that would priorly ask Aphrodite, but now invokes this goddess Hecate and the ghost to draw a woman to a man with burning, intense desire, asking her to come to the rooftop late at night. Anyway, so what we see is traditional Greek elements have been adopted in a Hellenistic cosmopolitan world and adding a whole bunch of goddesses to make it have a wider appeal and give it more power. You want to make something powerful in a ritual? Add some more gods to it.